MH3 Timeless Lotus has finally dropped. A lot of deck building lessons kind of had to be learned to get here. One big thing was I wasted a lot of time on and off stream, or a little time on stream and a lot of time off stream, focusing on more artifact focused builds that were really in on Glaring Fleshraker and really in on Ugin's Labyrinth. Really trying to kind of be more of a kind of legacy style Grim Monolith, really, really built around Worn Powerstone. But after like a lot of, introspection, exploration, it's kind of just like Amulet of Vigor is still just that guy. Amulet of Vigor works really, really well with Worn Powerstone. And in the more Golos focused builds, like it's just very difficult to play, to be in on the bounce lands, which are really like where the power from Amulet of Vigor comes from. So after spending a long time on more Golos focused builds, I started working on this more green build here. So we're still using Worn Powerstone as a ramp spell inside your Amulet of Vigor shell, which is something I've been very excited for. And one thing that this Worn Powerstone does, besides just be like a pretty potent ritual when you have multiple amulets going, and that is of course what this deck is trying to do, get multiple amulets going and then storm off. This is going to allow you to better beat hate cards. Playing 4 Worn Powerstone and 4 Timeless Lotus is going to make you a lot more resilient to moon effects and to a lesser extent damping spheres too. And beyond the Worn Powerstones, we're playing Malevolent Rumble, which I think is a little bit better than Ancient Stirrings of this deck, because you can mill over Storm the Festival for value, and then also turn 2 is usually your setup turn, and so having like an extra mana off the Rumble for turn 3 is pretty nice. We're playing 1 Shifting Woodland that we can tutor with Map, Golos, or Urza's Cave, and we have 4 copies of Urza's Cave. I think the first time I'm doing that in the deck too. Urza's Cave is something I really like here, where it's kind of like it's a land that like lets you cast your Amulet of Vigor turn 1. It's like good on your setup turns where you're playing gardens and sagas and caves. But then while it's in play, when you're going off, you get to like it also is a land that's going to make more mana. So it's a land that you can play early, and then on your combo turns you get to sack it for a Lotus Field or a bounce land, and then really pop off, which is something I really like. How is this deck better than Amulet Titan if it requires amulets to function well, just like Titan? Well, that is a good question, and a question that we get a lot when we play this archetype. And there are some strengths that you have over Amulet Titan. The biggest one is that you are pretty resilient to creature-based removal. Titan, if sometimes you're able to pick apart those Primeval Titans, you're able to pick apart those Dryad of the Elysian Groves. This deck is more spell-based. This deck is, really reliant on Karn. Golos has this, activated ability that a lot of times you can play and activate it before removal matters on it. You're comboing off with Storm the Festival, and you're playing a lot of spells in the same turn. So it's a lot easier for you to overwhelm single pieces of interaction. Additionally, because you're playing Worn Powerstone and Timeless Lotus, if your opponent plays a Damping Sphere, a Blood Moon, or a Harbinger of the Seas, you can use these mana rocks as big sources of mana, and Amulet of Vigor in combination with them to still go off and ignore these pieces too. This deck is also really fast. This deck is very, very consistent at winning on turn 3. And I think it wins on turn 3 a little bit more consistently than Amulet Titan. I'm not declaring that this deck is just better than Amulet Titan. In fact, I think that Amulet Titan is probably better, but there are some real advantages, I think, to this archetype, and at the very least, it's an archetype that we've played a lot on stream, and I think deserves an MH3 update. Yeah, I'm not playing an Emrakul today. I ended up going up an extra land because of the Shifting Woodland, basically. I usually like to play 26, but I think Shifting Woodland plays enough like a spell or like a late game flood advantage if you can copy a Golos out of the yard, that I end up wanting to play this over the Emrakul. Thought about playing the Emrakul in the sideboard for when Karn gets needled, but also like it's just not going to happen this often, and you can Boseiju the needle, and you can also win games just by making a ton of Saga tokens and Golosing in these like really long grindy games if they get rid of your Karns. You also alternatively can bring in like a Cityscape Leveler, or you can bring in a win condition if you're really worried about it too. I've spent also a lot of time working on Aftermath Analyst, Woodlands, Lotus, but unfortunately it's just like that those plans and those builds just like it's been so much worse for me than just this. Like those like all my analyst builds kind of like you're lucky to win on turn 3. You're more often going to win on turn 4, and these variants very often win on turn 3. It's just more consistent and faster, and I think more resilient too. And you're not like super weak to graveyard hate. So it's like I'm having kind of a hard time justifying the Aftermath Analyst builds, I guess. All right, kind of a big top deck. Love to draw maybe like a Mycosynth Gardens or something like that. I guess a second Rumble is castable here, which is kind of something. An Arboreal Grazer, a Timeless Lotus, which you already have one of, a Golos, and a Karn. Let's go ahead and take a Grazer. What we need here definitely is more mana. And then here we find Forest, Golos, Urza, Saga. Not the best. Was definitely hoping to find a Mycosynth Gardens or another Amulet of Vigor off of the double Rumble. Next turn we have 5 mana into the Timeless Lotus, which is mana neutral. So we're 1 mana short of casting Storm. Let's see what they do here. Very fast turn of not really doing anything. Draw our first copy of Golos here. Could have Grazer plus second Rumble. We did cast the second Rumble already, but typically I think it's a lot better to try to hold a Arboreal Grazer as a ritual in this deck, for whatever that's worth. So it also seems like here I'm going to need to play out the Grazer and then go Timeless Lotus into Golos and get a Mycosynth Gardens. And then I've got 2 blockers here, which should be pretty good. 1 mana short of copying the Lotus this turn, but that should be okay. What if Karn gets Stonebrain or Surgical? Well, in matchups where your opponent can Stonebrain or Surgical your card, you should probably be bringing in a Walking Ballista or an Aetherflux Reservoir or a Cityscape Leveler or something to those regards to play around that happening. And you can also I've had that happen, and I've just like won the game with a bunch of Saga tokens, which I think is a pretty viable enough line. So it does look like we're going to be living here. Kind of surprised they're not just sitting in with these cat tokens, because I'm going to be... Oh, I guess I can only block one of the flyers, sorry. So I'm going to go down to 2 instead of down to 1 if they had sent in with the cats. But we should be very much off to the races here. Now, I could play Urza's Cave and get a Lotus Field, so it's -3 mana to go up 6 versus playing this, which is 4. So this is net 3, this is net 4. Seems like I should just play the Simic Growth Chamber here. Now, I have 9 mana right now. Storm of the Festival is almost definitely going to be mana positive. I think I'm just going to cast this, despite it maybe being a little bit risky. All right, so we find this is +4 mana, this is +6. I could also get Mycosynth Gardens, and this would be basically -1 mana, but then it'll be an investment for the future. I think I should just get these 2. So go make green, make blue, and in general, if I have the option to. Spin Golos or flashback Storm the Festival, I tend to just flashback Storm the Festival. Since Storm the Festival is very likely to just make a lot of mana. And then you can spin that mana to Golos again. So there's a Lotus Field and a Simic Growth Chamber. So again, just mana off of our Storm. I think this one is actually exactly mana neutral here. 10 mana to make 10 mana. Actually, was it ever better for me to... 'Cause I don't think there was a spot where I could have Karn for Paradox Engine, but actually, maybe I was able to at some point here. So I have 10, 13 mana. If I Karn Paradox Engine, I only have 3 mana left. Do I have enough mana to Filigree Sages here? I should have made more blue mana if I was thinking about Filigree Sages. Let's just spin. Spin into 3 lands. Yikes. Well, that's not so good. Yeah, I ended up playing a ring over the bridge today. That bridge doesn't even really save us. Yeah, damn indeed. Obviously, we could have taken things a little bit differently to get out of that, but... Heir to the 29 months. Thank you. Welcome back. Appreciate you. Feels not great. Just trying to think if I want to bring in these welding jars. I think probably not. The jump player interested we make changes. The Demir Satoru you had fun with. Happy Friday. Yeah, I've been looking at that deck too. I am unsure how I would build that deck post BNR or whatever. Karn plus Sages, 11 mana, ultimate Golo. Yeah, so the thing about Karn plus Sages is you have infinite non-blue mana. So I think we could have made infinite non-blue mana, and then we could have activated Golos once, and then if we brick on the Golos, it's still the same. But I may be misunderstanding the board a little bit. All right, I think I'm just gonna go ahead and pick up this Saga, and then I'm a little bit unsure if I'm gonna just cast Worn Powerstone next turn, or if I'm gonna Rumble. And I think I'm a bit more likely to cast the Worn Powerstone because of Blood Moon. Then we'll just go from there. Kind of slower hands. Maybe I should have mulliganed to a bit of a more explosive start. Seemed like a fine slower hand on the play in a matchup that isn't killing you till turn 4 most of the time. See what they hit off the Raptor. Hit a Ragavan. Probably the worst hit, but maybe another Raptor. So we are going to have to go off this turn, which won't be very easy. Yeah, maybe this was a mulligan just because I couldn't Rumble on 2 also. I have 5 mana right now. Urza's Cave, Urza Saga. All right, let's pack it in. Probably didn't play that match very well. I've been like the decks I've been playing against have been like through the breach, Gorios, Tron, and it's like all of these matchups for Woodlands. It's like it's very play draw dependent. There's not like it's not like a super good environment for the archetype by my estimations. Okay, up against Living End. No grief though. No second land either. But you know what I mean? It's like it seems to be a very combo focused metagame because the kind of obvious most popular deck is Energy, and Energy is a very exploitable deck via combo. So it seems like this early post Nadu ban environment is very much built around that environment or this environment. So I mean, I could try to go off here, but I think they only have 1 land, and they're very likely to have some combination of Force of Negation, Subtlety. That it seems like I could just wait and just build up more and more mana. I think I'm gonna play Urza's Cave over the Urza Saga, so that I can copy here, and then I can this will basically be +3 mana for me on this next combo turn. Got some thoughts on sideboard cards against Through the Breach. I'm struggling against it. Well, it kind of is like always, you know, when just asking what sideboards card can I play for this matchup? It's not really a question that is very complete. I need to know what deck you're playing. Containment Priest stops the Through the Breach combo, but also just like being a Force of Negation deck. And that's also part of the reason why I wanted to play this. Is like we're just main decking 4 Force of Negations and Consigns and Wildfires. I felt like those matchups were pretty winnable yesterday. Okay, I think I'm just gonna start with Timeless Lotus and see if they Force of Negation this. I have a lot more mana available here unless they Subtlety the Grazer. Okay, so Force pitching press the enemy. Pick this back up. Been trying Stone Brands. Always feel like you're running Eldrazi. I see Eldrazi mid range. It is going to be a tough matchup for you. Absolutely. I do agree that Stone Branding, like the One Ring deck, the Kozilek's Command deck that could just like pretty easily hardcast their stuff is not the best plan. I was playing some blue builds of Eldrazi, and getting to play 4 Consigns seemed like a nice place to be. We also had that 1 Force of Negation build of Eldrazi. Okay, so this Grazer is plus 6 mana. Let's go ahead and cast this Rumble, which is, I guess, plus 1 mana also. Golos, another Golos or a Karn. Guess we'll take the Karn, and then... Oh, we also milled over Storm the Festival, which is good. McFluff with the 51 months. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. All right, and they pack it in. I'm going to bring in the Welding Jars against their likely Disenchants, and I think I'm going to go down 1 Powerstone, 2 Rumble. Click Submit. Could potentially go down a land, too. Thanks again, McFluff, for the 51 months. Long time. Yeah, Rumble has been such an impactful MH3 card. Yeah, again, big part of the reason to play this deck is being a deck that is able to main deck for Force Negation really comfortably. Force Negation is just so awesome in this deck where you spend all your mana drawing cards, putting stuff into play, and then you just get to like time walk them. Stop the ring too, which is really nice. And then Sink into the Stupors have been kind of similar, where you just get pretty ahead on board and you stop your opponent's thing, pitches to Force of Negation. And then another thing about Sink into the Stupor is there has been more Domain Zoo, and so this is like a main deck way to bounce a Leyline, which like you're just no longer like just super cold to your opponent going Leyline Scion. Like that was just kind of unbeatable before, but now you have the out here. How common is Force of Vigor? Force of Vigor is, I think, pretty uncommon. Which is a big part of the reason I think to want to be playing this archetype again. So this hand has a lot of mana, but no payoff yet. But I think on the draw, you're just supposed to keep these kind of hands, especially with a Welding Jar to protect some of your artifacts from cards like Foundation Breaker, Force of Vigor, Boseiju. Although, yeah, this is, I suppose, a deck that does still play Force of Vigor. Maybe you want to work on this deck, but Demilich wants me want Anger in Modern. Yeah, I don't think I would play it in the Demilich deck. Anger would be kind of interesting. In general, I think I would like to try to buff these kind of like smaller graveyard combo decks. So I would be into something like that. All right, so there's our payoff. This is main phase. Pitching a Commandeer, and then missing their land drop again. Does my opponent have another Commandeer? Are they going to Commandeer my Storm the Festival? If they do, I could maybe still flash it back. Might be a little short on mana this turn, actually, to do that.
I know the stream already started, but do you want some boiled eggs?
I don't know. I'll have one egg. Thank you. This trying time. Well, that's fair enough. I think I just I'm gonna play this out. Super duper clear. Your turn. Yeah, I'm down to play Primal Pairs again. I've been looking at it some more. One thing, again, I've been saying this some, but like one problem I have with playing it again is that it definitely is a deck that is more of a paper deck than a Magic Online deck with the way. So they found a foundation. So they're getting their foundation breaker back. More of a paper deck than a Magic Online deck with the infinite combos. So it's like it's just it's pretty tough. And then also I don't know if there's like that much room for innovation still on the archetype, which means I'm gonna have a hard time just like forcing myself to play it. But we'll see. So there's a Storm the Festival. Hopefully they don't have a second Force of Negation. Seems like they do have a Subtlety, which we, at the moment, can beat. I guess I should have just played the Boseiju earlier, though, so I could play this as a tap land. Oh, they are F6. Well, that's always good. Timeless Lotus and Karn. So I unfortunately no longer have the door in the sideboard, which would be a very clean and elegant win in this spot. I think I want to go for Paradox Engine into Flashback Storm, but I guess if I brick on the Storm, then I'm just losing. So maybe I could just grab the Ring. The Cityscape Leveler also winning this board. It's pretty good. Maybe I should have just Flashback Storm first. Yeah, flashback the Storm now, and then if we brick, we can Ring. Okay. Well, obviously, we still have the draw off the Ring, too. So I'm going to put another Power Stone into play, and I think I'm just going to get another... No, I need the bounce land in my hand for next turn. So thanks, JS, for the 5 months. Appreciate you. And then we also have this Shifting Woodland, which probably, can't really copy anything too profitably in this deck besides Golos. It would be cool if copying Timeless Lotus came up, but that seems kind of unlikely. If only the Ring entered tapped, it'd be so much better in this deck. All right, a lot more mana for next turn, protection from everything, 3 more cards coming next turn. Karn's gonna die. They don't have 20 points of damage anyways. I guess they only need 18, but we have the Grazer to block. This is 17, I think. You remember like when your opponent would just like be like 3 points short of lethal, and they would just have Violent Outburst plus 2 damage every single time. No more of that, thankfully. All right, let's see if this Karn resolves. Now I'm probably gonna get Paradox Engine to so like untapping the Ring and going off, but if it does resolve, indeed. They cycle in response. Maybe we're supposed to play the Ring first, since Gardens could have copied it to draw 2 additional times. Maybe. All right, well. Oh, you know what? I did miscount on. I forgot about this damage from the ring. So this is. Sorry, yeah, I'm actually dead. Oh no, I'm not dead because I can copy the ring with gardens. So I can copy the ring with gardens and not take 2 to the ring and die if they are able to like deal with my grazer here. I think it's probably better to leave this up than it is to... I just have like infinite mana basically. Can't you copy the card with Shifting Woodland? Yeah, it seems a little... I got there eventually, huh? Alright, so see, if they have Subtlety, we can just tap the ring again. So I think it's good to lead on the Karn here. And then I'm going to go ahead and grab Paradox Engine. Maybe I should have floated mana first. Why no door anymore? It's like Aetherflux Reservoir and the door are kind of redundant. There are some spots door wins that Reservoir won't, but these are like games that you can usually couple together win. This match was an example of that. Extension should be right at least. Despite its poor place in the metagame, I love 8 key too much to stop playing it. Do you think that there's a way it could be good? It could be good without the ring if it gets banned. I mean, the ring is like insane in 8 key. It's like, so like you know, I remember being, I think that was the first place we played it, or one of the first places we played that card, and so it's like, we could do without the ring ban conversation nonstop. It is so tired at this point. But it's not going to get banned anytime soon. As far as like building 8 key right now, there's a lot of ways to do it. I was working for a long time on glaring Fleshraker builds, or Urza's Labyrinth build. Ugin's Labyrinth builds, and at the moment I'm feeling very unsure. Obviously, always this is into Mahalo one. Always very unsure on like the best way to build the archetype. It is a confusing deck. I've been like really in on like Worn Powerstone and like the keys on tapping Worn Powerstone for like just like 1 extra mana, and like also playing amulets, trying to overlap the 2 things. Then keys on tapping Timeless Lotus. I've just been like away from the charge counters, more in on the charge counters. I've even been thinking that you might just want to build the deck in a way that you're able to kind of be more of a value like Dice Factory Tron deck where you are playing Karn and you're playing Ugin as your imprintables for Labyrinth. But I've just been very stuck overall. Okay, so we milled over Storm the Festival, which is really nice. Definitely, you know, Rumble, like 1 extra mana, the exact card we need, and here's a nice payoff for all this mana too. It just does everything. More Q with the 20 months, appreciate you. David with the 38, appreciate you as well. Thank you so much. Off-topic question, why am I choosing to play Karn in Omniscience Woodland instead of Emrakul? Is it for flexibility, if not for wish effects? Masterminds. If for flexibility, why not a wish effect? Masterminds acquisition. So this is a good question. So there's like 3 or 4 reasons to do it. One, Emrakul is, if say why not Emrakul? Emrakul shuffles your graveyard. I've played Emrakul in Woodlands builds. It is kind of interesting that you could respond to the Emrakul trigger copy, but it is for the most part a big detriment where you're playing all this self-mill. Emrakul is like a non-starter. But the thing is, Karn or a wish or just random wish target like you're suggesting, both of these cards or all of these cards are they are 1 card win the game combos, right? If you play a wish, it's a 1 game win the game combo. If you play a Karn, it's a 1 game win the game combo. 1 card win the game combo. They both do the same thing, right? So what would be the advantage of playing a card like Wish or Mastermind's Acquisition over Karn? There honestly really isn't like an argument for playing like the shitty like one-time use things, because Karn is like a card that comes down and says your artifact-based graveyard hate doesn't work. Karn is a card that gets 2 things instead of 1 thing. It's a permanent-based planeswalker. It is land destruction against the big mana decks. It is like it lets you pivot plans so much harder. It is just a much more versatile, powerful effect than Wish, and that's kind of it. It is Emrakul doesn't work. You want to play a one card win the game card, and Karn is one that turns off graveyard hate, and Karn is one that is way more versatile. Doesn't have to be really any deeper than that. So I think I'm gonna put Gardens into play here. I think with the Timeless Lotus in our hand, we're spinning. We make Mardu mana, and then we make 3 of each Simic mana, so we'll have 15 of each floating. Gonna be a lot of spins. Plus a Storm in the Yard, plus a Rumble in the hand. Should be a relatively deterministic win. Yeah, the Urza's caves are pretty cool. They're like lands that you can play up on your setup turns and also give you some extra mana and have some versatility with Shifting Woodland. What a fun deck. How many amulets are too many amulets? It's a trick question. There's no such thing. I'm just gonna make. I'm sorry. Sorry. I thought I had 4 amulets instead of 5. With 5, I'll make one of each color. But I was thinking I might just get lazy and do all green. Yeah, 12 might be too many. I guess there maybe is an answer to that question, huh? Still have the Grazer. There's another. There's another. Storm the Festival. Looking for a Karn. Think we can just activate a few times here. There's a Karn. Then we'll grab Aetherflux Reservoir, which I assume my opponent will probably concede to in the spot. Not, I'm happy enough to go through the motions. Shrimpy with the 2 months, thank you so much. Welcome back. I missed the door. Yeah, I missed the door too. But don't think it's right to play it, or and we've doored enough. It's time for door to rest. I guess I could just, not use the Grazer ability, not use the Golos ability. Aren't you worried about Leyline of Sanctity? Not at all. I can Karn for an answer to it. I could Boseiju a Leyline of Sanctity. And when I go on my combo turns, I'm just, I'm building up such a wild board state. Why would I be worried about a Leyline of Sanctity? Ask for the 1 year. Welcome back. Appreciate you. Why is Door worse than Aetherflux today? I assume you aren't getting either till garbage time. Well, if your opponent has played the One Ring, you cannot kill them with the door. So I think it's important for you to be able to reservoir them. Reservoir also sometimes you just get in, you gain a lot of life. It's not it doesn't come up that often, but when it does come up, it like wins you the game or saves you from losing. There was a spot already today though where Door would have been a faster win, but we still won the game too. Am I worried about 2 Leylands of Sanctity? No. Can Leveler and Haywire Mite and Boseiju. 4 Leyland of Sanctity is me. Now that might cause me trouble, although I guess I could metamorph my Haywire Mite. I really hope the opponent had a bolt for us at 3 life. Weren't they tapped out? It was better put by Grazer, actually. Probably doesn't matter that much. Do need a bounce land at some point. That can be a bounce land. We can grab a expedition map off that if we need to. Pretty good draw on turn 1, obviously. Feeling real nervous about not drawing green. I don't know. I mean, it's more just like any bounce land, right? Like casting this Grazer doesn't seem to matter that much. I probably should have just kept the Lotus instead. So 9 minutes until the Chalice starts. Hopefully we just win this one real fast. Do you think creativity will ever be playable again? I mean, people are playing it at the moment. Dude, just their Hollow Unluck seems to have been pretty unlucky so far. People are playing it. I'm not sure how playable I think it is, I guess. Not back-to-back Star Wars ads. Come on, Spike. Come on, Pro Chicken. Subscribe or don't complain about the ads. Aether Spike, 31 months. Appreciate you. Welcome back. You have 2 options. Subscribe or don't complain about the ads. Those are the 2 paths, the 2 wolves inside of you. Also, I don't pick what the ads are. Yeah, or get an ad blocker. Yeah, that is also an option. Get an ad blocker. These. Also, I am a Star Wars fan. Or yeah, okay. Actually, I take it back. I take it back. Complain about the ads, and then you'll get gifted a sub. Complain about the ads, and then you'll be gifted a sub. So I don't want to copy the amulet here because I may need to. Well, I may need to crack the map using the gardens. Although, just see what happens here. Goodbye, Simic Growth Chamber, I guess. What's going on with these random gores? I guess I have Aetherflux Reservoir. I would be so happy if they spent a turn casting this. I might lose though. So we're definitely gonna float a mana. If I copy. And Pro Chicken gives a sub. Yeah, I'm just bantering, not that big a deal. Need map? No. Well, so I could get Amulet, and then I could cast Worn Powerstone. And then I'm 1 mana short of casting Timeless Lotus and going off. And but if I take the map, I go take map, play bounce land for turn. 2 mana, Grazer 3 mana. I'm still not. I guess I'm getting somewhere in the sense that I can block and not die. So that's probably a good enough reason to do this. And then I think we go Grazer into, thank you, sweetheart, garden. Untap the garden. Next turn we can go Growth Chamber, 4 mana, copy Powerstone Lotus, go off. So hopefully this lets me survive. We're playing Phoenix in the challenge, not in the face. We played it last week. I played it off stream, and I've been liking the deck, and I think that it's a deck that has a good amount of game against energy and combo because we are main decking the Force of Negations. I think our Tomio Phoenix, Stimulant, Gutshot Bolt. Just like I think our plan in general is good against energy, and we've got some good sideboard cards against them too. I just kind of think we're good against combo, big mana, and energy. We're good enough against them that I wanted to play this instead of Woodlands, which is like kind of weird in a combo metagame where you're just kind of like hoping to win die rolls mostly. We think of DRC versus Adept and Hollow One. I think I like Flameblade Adept more, but this is kind of largely because I don't think Inti is very cuttable, and so like what I don't like that the lists are kind of having to go minus Inti minus Adapt to play DRC plus Bobble. Like I don't think you have enough discard outlets without Inti. I don't think that you. I think Inti is really good in the deck too, and Inti is also like better at beating Graveyard Hate, and like Channeler plays into Graveyard Hate more. But Channeler is a very good Magic card, so I don't think it's like super distant, Cycle's a hollow one. How long do I give a brew before I scrap it and move on? I'm working a brew, can't get it to come together as I think it should. Well, it kind of depends. Because sometimes brews just don't work, and I'll abandon them pretty quickly. And it just depends on how much faith I have that the brew can come together. A lot of times I don't think that there's like a lot of merit in continuing, and sometimes if I believe in it, I'll continue. And it's not really that much more complicated. You know what I mean? Just everything is different. It's all situational. But maybe a good rule of thumb is if you're out of ideas and it isn't working, then you probably can move on. But you can also kind of ask yourself, why isn't it working? And it's usually not working for one of three reasons. Either your brew is bad because it is slow. Either your brew is bad is because it's inconsistent. Either your brew is bad because it's fragile. And unfortunately, a lot of the times it's a combination. Like it's more than just one of those three. And if it's two of those three and you can't figure a way to solve those, you probably just gotta move on most of the time. Okay. Bouncing. We have a surgical. So fun to have Worn Powerstone in Modern. Thoughts on Stonebay being playable again? It isn't. That'd be $5 a month for the rest of your life. They printed a million good white 1 and 2 drops in MH3. Felia, Johnny, Guide, Pride are all just like much better cheap white threats, and so it's like Felia isn't even seeing play, and it just there just like isn't much reason to play. There isn't much reason to play that kind of build anymore. So can I just Karn for Ballista? I need 26 mana. Guess I'm going to be short of that. I guess I need 27 mana. I have 12, 13, 18, plus 4, 22. So I guess we'll just flash this back and see what happens. Good things are happening. Can't I door? I cut the door from the deck, but it's just like in these spots, like you just win most of the time anyways, and it just door feels pretty redundant too. Aetherflux Reservoir and Reservoir beats the ring. Looks like the challenge match started. I'm just gonna go ahead and finish this up real fast. Like, yeah, yes, wins take a little bit longer, but it seems like we are winning to the same degree. Door does have style points. I agree with that. I love the door more than any of y'all, I tell you what. It looks like a lot more than 26 mana. Is my opponent going to make me click through this? Javier Dom said on Carney's podcast that Flage is the strongest card in Modern, maybe too strong. How do I feel about Flage? I feel very differently than that, I guess. I don't I really I hear a lot of people say this, and this has not been my experience with against Flage. It is like it is a card that I feel like I just always have a plan for, and it is a card that has been very beatable. I played Deep Analysis and Lava Dart, and I'm usually a big hater of Lava Dart and Phoenix because you just kind of need to like have all your lands in play every turn almost. But what did you cut to add Deep Analysis and Lava Dart? I wonder. How's cubing going? Their feeder league's happening again tomorrow. We'll see if we get spreading seized. Merfolk seems to be back, which is kind of funny to some extent. Like there was a lot of Merfolk players talking about how Nadu was like a fine matchup for them. It's like our second. I guess it's only our second time playing against it in 2 days. Feels like they might be back. What's the theory behind Tomio behind Phoenix? I thought you were against non-recursive threats in that deck. I was, but Tomio was too insane. She is like more of a planeswalker than a creature, and she flips super fast, super easily. She's very powerful with Metamorpho. She picks up Force of Negation, picks up Sink into the Stupor to allow you to weird. I think I get Merfolk I'm supposed to keep. She lets you pick up your interactive spells to stabilize against opponents. Her +1 is super good against energy. She again that I mentioned she makes mana with Metamorphose. She is awesome in the deck. How is she against Merfolk? I mean, probably fine. She also is like a big part of your sideboard plans, right? Because she enables you to play Flame of Anor. She enables you to pick up like Cleansing Wildfire, Surgical Extraction, all this stuff. Kind of simply put, Tomio is just very, very powerful, and she's 1 mana in the archetype. She is good enough to kind of break that convention. And also, like to some extent, like I don't love to sacrifice like spell count in favor of other creatures when I'm playing like something else besides Phoenix and Demilich. But because Tomio picks up instants and sorceries for you, it doesn't usually feel like you're really sacrificing that spell count in the deck too. So I'm gonna get the Elves deck in the Mox Field too. Can you explain Metamorphose? Are you talking? Tomio says if you return a green instant or sorcery, it makes a mana. This is kind of a little known part of Tomio that she has that line of text. I guess. But also Tomio, like if you go turn 1 Tomio, turn 2 Metamorphose, you can like cast a cantrip or sack a clue also to win the game. So getting Harbingered. So you just got the Tomios. I feel so strongly you must play 4 Force of Negation if you own them. By the way, to me, I strongly believe Force of Negation is not like an optional include. So I think I'm copying the Amulet this turn. Like you mentioned the deck is too slow for modern, but like the force, like having 4 force of negation, like helps stop things really hard. Also, do you recommend Sink into the Stupor over Coliseum? Doing like way too many things at once right now, as always. Not expecting this one to resolve. Okay, it's fine. Maybe they wasted their consign earlier. Could be easy as cutting the dart. Yeah, I mean dart is like unplayable in the deck. I think like dart is worse than gut shot. I would play the 4th gut shot before the first lava dart. Deep analysis I also think is kind of like a card I just wouldn't play, where your deck is already pretty full of card advantage. You don't I wouldn't recommend. I don't think I would recommend deep analysis. In this spot, I can spin Golos, or I can play the One Ring and play Golos. I guess that's going to end up being a lot safer against an opponent who has probable lethal attack. I guess they would need another Island Walking Lord. Yeah, I think I'm going to spin. Okay, so now we're going to grab Paradox Engine to go off next turn. Opponent is so excited. We are dead to another Lord. I think this was okay. Oh, damn it. Okay. Alright, let's play some elves. Sorry about the mess this morning, y'all.
What's up? It's me, your friend, Aspiring Spike.
It wasn't uncommon. I'll go Metamorphose into deep analysis for